Charles Parish Sheriff. I'm happy to have with me today my neighbor and friend, Sheriff Mike Trey from St. John Baptist Parish next door. Along with him is Major Steve Gidry. Also with Sheriff Trey, to my right is Lieutenant Derek Pertwee of our Investigations Division, and to his right, our Chief of Investigations, Major Rodney Meyer. First, I want to thank you all for coming. We would like to announce this afternoon that at about 10 a.m. this morning, our detectives obtained arrest warrants signed by 29th Judicial District Court Judge Tim Marcel here in St. Charles Parish. After these warrants were signed, our SWAT team surrounded and arrested Jarrell Smith, age 31, at his mother's home on Luling Estates Drive, 134 Luling Estates Drive in Luling, Louisiana, where he lived with his mother. He was charged with one count of first-degree murder of Ryan Dubuque, 28 years old, of Metairie. He was charged with one count of carjacking, one count of armed robbery. There is a second count of armed robbery that we have also obtained an arrest warrant for this perpetrator, and I will discuss those details following the homicide discussion. This past Monday morning, January 9th, at about 9:30 a.m., the deputies responded to a call by parish workers who had discovered the body of a white male lying beside the access road off of Highway 3160 in Onville, Louisiana. This road is an access road which leads to the St. Charles Parish Onville wastewater plant. The victim at that time was lying on the side of the road near the ditch, and he had obviously been shot multiple times. There was no identification of his person. That afternoon, we were able to identify the victim through fingerprints, and he was identified to be, as you all know, Ryan J. Dubuque of Metairie, Louisiana, 28 years of age. Before I go any further, I want to express my condolences to the Dubuque family. We have been in contact with them since this incident occurred, and obviously they were very distraught. And so we have expressed our condolences to them. We've indicated to them how hard we've been working on this thing, literally around the clock without stop, since it happened, and they are appreciative. And I just want to indicate that we are so sad for their this terrible loss. So virtually dozens of deputies and detectives were mobilized on Monday morning, as we typically do when we have the rare event of a homicide here in St. Charles Parish. It's been nonstop, as I indicated. We've got a few of them here in the room. Many of them are still working. This investigation is still active, tying the loose ends together. So they're still busy, many of them without sleep. So I'm very, very proud of the work that they've done. It is really unfortunate, a tragic situation, but it is very prideful on my part to watch them in action when they set about to do an investigation like this. And this situation was no different than any other. I'm completely proud to see it. The work, it just looks like a well-oiled machine, methodically going in different directions, but in a very, very organized manner, thanks to our staff. The basic facts of what I can reveal at this time are as follows. Ryan Dubuque was en route to his employment as a subcontractor. He worked for a subcontracting company at Cornerstone Chemical Plant in Waggaman, Louisiana. He stopped at a local convenience store here in Luling on River Road at about between 5:30 and 5:45 a.m. on Monday morning. He entered the store, went to the ATM machine, and he withdrew $80 in cash. He purchased an energy drink along with a food item and left the store. As he went outside in the parking lot, he was approached by a black male individual who has now been identified as Jarrell Smith. We believe that the perpetrator saw Mr. Dubuque withdraw cash from the ATM machine. It's clearly visible from the parking lot. We now know that the perpetrator asked Mr. Dubuque for a ride. Video surveillance showed the perpetrator get into the passenger side of Mr. Dubuque's vehicle for that ride. Shortly thereafter, the truck with Mr. Dubuque driving was seen heading off on River Road at about 6 a.m. eastbound in what would be the direction of Cornerstone Chemical Plant. We have reasons to believe that Jarrell Smith shot and killed Mr. Dubuque shortly after they drove away from the convenience store. As I previously indicated, at about 9:30 a.m., Mr. Dubuque's body was discovered on the access road at Onville, which is about 8 miles away. which is in the opposite direction from where they drove off. At about 6 p.m. that afternoon, we were notified by St. John the Baptist Parish Sheriff's Office that Mr. Dubuque's truck was located in a field north of Belle Point subdivision in LaPlace, Louisiana. We had previously sent out a BOLO looking for the vehicle to surrounding law enforcement agencies that morning, once we were able to identify Mr. Dubuque and get the information about the vehicle that he drove. The truck was returned, we had it towed back, brought it back to our headquarters here for processing by our crime scene technicians. A significant amount of blood was found inside the truck. Through a great deal of hard work, Darrell Smith has been identified by our detective as the person that got into Ryan Dubuque's truck on Monday morning. Based upon the information that we have at this time, it appears that Ryan Dubuque was robbed and brutally murdered for as little as $80 in cash. No cash was found on Mr. Dubuque's person or in his truck. Tuesday morning, an autopsy was performed by the Jefferson Parish Coroner's Office, working in collaboration with our coroner here in St. Charles, Dr. Brian Brogel. That autopsy indicated and confirmed that Mr. Dubuque had been shot 4 times in the head at close range. Those are the basic facts that I can talk about. I will take a few questions afterwards. I want to talk about the second armed robbery charge, which we're also arresting this perpetrator, Mr. Smith, on today. December 29th, there was an armed robbery reported to us at 4:30 in the morning at the same convenience store. On that day, at about 4:30, a worker went to the store to gas up or do what he did at a convenience store. He was approached by a black male in the parking lot who produced a gun and demanded his money. This victim struggled with the perpetrator. There was a struggle over the gun briefly. As the struggle broke up, the perpetrator threw a few dollars he had in his pocket on the ground. The perpetrator then aborted his robbery attempt, grabbed the cash, and fled off on foot. Again, it was dark, 4:30 in the morning. We worked diligently on that robbery. That was put out to the media, and we were unable to identify the perpetrator of that December 29th robbery until yesterday. And the way we were able to do it is an eyewitness to that robbery who had not previously come forward, learning of the Dubuque murder, came forward and also provided their eyewitness testimony to us. So we obtained a second armed robbery warrant for that December 29th robbery, which, as of yesterday, we were able to also determine that Darrell Smith perpetrated. Again, before I take questions, there's one other thing while I've got your attention here. I want to talk about, and again, it's ironic because we in 2016 here in St. Charles Parish, we experienced a 20-year record low in crime. I'm going to talk about that in days to come. Today is not the appropriate day to go there in light of these obviously serious events, but it is ironic. But unfortunately, the last 2 weeks, as you can see, things have obviously picked up for us. But we did experience a great year in 2016. We'll talk about that in days ahead. Last night at midnight, now this is a totally unrelated situation, another armed robbery we had last night, which is a rare crime for us. Last night at midnight, a white male perpetrator, or possibly white or maybe light-skinned Hispanic, who had a camouflage face mask, complete camouflage face mask. You can see some parts of his face. Entered a convenience store on Online Boulevard. He produced a semi-automatic handgun and demanded cash from the cashier at that convenience store. He was given a amount of cash, and he fled on foot southbound toward the set of railroad tracks in Online Boulevard. We have put out photos. We've gone to Crime Stoppers with all of these crimes, released them all, and we have some promising leads on that case. It is totally unconnected to the Darrell Smith homicide that we're announcing today, but you've seen that out too, so we wanted to put that out. We provided you with photos, surveillance photos of the perpetrator of that robbery last night on Online Boulevard. So, those are the informations. If you have any information on the armed robbery with the public, we're asking the public, if they have any information, we'd ask them to contact Detective Jenny Barrett, who's working that case for us. And I may not have mentioned it, but Tommy Plaisance, Detective Tommy Plaisance, was the lead detective in the Dubuque murder case. And so we thank him as well as really literally dozens of deputies and detectives who have worked without sleep for the past really 70 hours, or so, 48 hours, 50 hours. They did a fantastic job. So questions I may be answered, excuse me, in advance if they're going to be limited, but there's certainly evidentiary matters we don't like to discuss at this particular point in the investigation. The case is still active. We're still talking to witnesses, still tying it all together, but we are very confident in the case we have that. Of course, everyone is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law, but we have obtained arrest warrants for Mr. Smith and his counsel about my. With that, I'll attempt, if I can,